Welcome to Vintage Weights PGH. This is the back of my minivan and it is loaded up. Before we get to the video, real quick, let me tell you about my new collaboration with Micro Gains. Vintage Gains calibration weight plates. Your weight plates probably don't weigh what you think they weigh. Put them on a scale. You'll see they're underweight, they're overweight, but with Vintage Gains, you can just calibrate them yourself at a low cost. Get some Vintage Gains at www.microgains.com now. Various barbells, 800 pounds of Olympic size weight plates, 700 pounds of standard weight plates. There are, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many extras and collars and various other things that came along with these two weight pickups, and that's what this represents. I picked up on this Saturday morning 2 different listings that had about 30 pounds of weights that I truly wanted to keep. These are Billard Universals, pretty nice. If you've never seen my Billard video, you might want to go check that out, and you can learn about the difference between Billard Olympic and Billard Universal. There's a full Billard Universal set in this pickup. This bucket of weights has tons of different little standard weights, as well as these York Barbell Easy Curl Bar collars. You can tell they're the Easy Curl Bar collars because they look like just the bottom of a spin lock collar. So, here's Sears, J.C. Higgins Sears standard plates. And then through the collars, I found a bunch of generic, but I also found some York Barbell Easy Curl Bar standard collars, the silver ones that often break. So that's kind of neat to find. Speaking of York Barbell, here's a copycat. If you haven't seen my Hoffman Industries video, check that out as well, because I go over those copycats in detail. For some reason, the backs of the Billard 25s were painted white. I find that often weight plates have paint splatters and all kinds of stuff all over them. Here's a York milled era, pre-USA milled era 45-pound plate. There's almost a complete set of York milled era weights. This is a vintage Gerard trap bar. Al Gerard is the inventor of the trap bar, at least most consider it. If you listen to the Home Gym History podcast episode with Solid Bar, you might see that there's some speculation as to and some kind of differences as to who invented what. Solid Bar invented the Hex trap bar. Some more Billard Universals coming out of the van. I lay down a moving blanket so that I'm not putting this all on my concrete. I used to just lay stuff out on the concrete. Here's some generic 45s. There's, I think, if I recall, 3 pairs of generic 45s. There's the milled era York 35s. I love the tall letters on there, kind of like the first generation tall letter Yorks. I mean, loosely like them. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I mean, people, the comments I would get, like, how dare you put those on the concrete? So now I just put down a moving blanket, and those people were all correct. Here's a York split sleeve barbell that goes with the weights. There goes my 3-year-old wondering what I'm doing. And there's some York 50-pound standard weights that I just brought out. So the reason those people were correct is that, you know, if you take a look, these are rusty and the paint is chipped, but it doesn't mean it has to be chipped even more. So having a moving blanket down prevents any further damage to the plates, and it prevents a bunch of smudges from the rust on my pavement that needs to be power washed anyway, the back patio, but why make it worse? Why, add undue damage to my patio? Here comes another moving blanket because this pickup is absurd. This was kind of a more modern, standard barbell that I just brought out and kind of flashed to the camera. I've been setting the stuff that is a little more modern, or the barbells, down further on the driveway. That's why I'm walking off camera. And here's the Easy Curl Bar, standard Easy Curl Bar from York. It's very common to find people have put grip tape of some type across it because although there is a knurled version, for many, many years, there wasn't a knurled version. Here's the Olympic York curl bar with speedlock collars were stuck on it. The speedlock collars were really intended for the barbell, the full-length Olympic barbell. And those short collars I showed earlier were for the curl bar, but I guess this owner just liked to use the heavy speedlock collars on it. Side note, speedlock collars from York are my absolute favorite go-to daily driver collars. They don't look like much. I'll do a full review video of them sooner or later, but when you actually get them in your hands, you will be impressed. Here's some dimpled Billard standards coming out. And we'll take this apart. I think that was a USA standard. We've just got like a pancake style plate. Dumbbell handles I'll put over there. So what do I do with all these weights? If I pick up, never mind, hold on a second. There's 5 of the 30 or so pounds that I wanted. Jackson barbell. There's some old Roberts plates that are kind of neat, but Jackson barbell. The reason I went to pick up these listings, one of the reasons, was that I saw the letter J on a 25-pound plate just peeking out from underneath another 25-pound plate. And then I saw a lead pocket just kind of the edge of it. Oh, and here's the other reason. Good barbell. Good barbell standard plates were the other reason I wanted to pick up these listings. So because I saw that tiny little corner of the Jacksons, and because I saw one good barbell plate in the original listing of the other listing, I wanted them both. And this is what you often have to do if you want to find vintage weights in the wild, as we like to say. You might have to buy an entire listing just to get 30 to 40 pounds of weights. In this case, I bought over 1,500 pounds of weights, and that's not even counting up the poundage of all the barbells and the random hex dumbbells. That's just the weight plates. So I would estimate probably closer to like 1,750 pounds. There's a skinny script, 25. I have a video on skinny scripts as well. So sometimes you have to pick up about, 1,500 more pounds of weights than you really need to just to get the couple that you want. And that's the difference between just buying vintage weights and finding vintage weights. Now, it's not impossible to just find the ones you want. Maybe you'll just be lucky enough to see a listing for Jackson barbell plates and buy them. There's some more Yorks. But if you're really going to find in the wild and not have to compete with other collectors finding in the wild, seeing that tiny little clue and then going and buying the whole listing is a way to guarantee you get the weights you want. So of the Jacksons, you've seen the 5-pound weight. There's a 5-pound single. And then there's coming up, all right, Ivanko. So Ivanko plates are a cool one to look for in the wild because if you look on the back, you'll see that sometimes they say M series, meaning that they were machined on the edges and that they are higher quality than Ivanko's economy series that doesn't say M series around the back near the hub. So whenever you see Ivankos, check the back. Still unloading, still bringing out pieces and parts. You'll notice that I'm sorting them. And here's one of the other big reasons I picked all these up. This is the one that I saw the J and I saw the lead pocket just peeking out from underneath a plate. It's a 25-pound Jackson barbell Olympic plate. There's the J, there's the lead pocket. So I'm not sure at this time of recording this whether it's a Gen 3 or whether it's an Erie plate. More on that in a future video about Jackson barbell. But no matter what it is, if it says Jackson, I'm going to buy it. This was an extraordinary amount of weights, over 1,500 pounds, all these bars. But I'm happy to have this Gerard trap bar. I'm happy to have those Jacksons. I'm happy to have those good barbell. And I'm happy to have you watching my videos. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. Vintage Weights PGH.
Thank you for watching Vintage Weights PGH. Please support the channel by purchasing apparel through the link in the description or at www.vintageweightspgh.com. Old weights, new gains, and lift history shirts are printed on high-quality next-level t-shirts, and they are available in multiple sizes and color options. Thank you for supporting the channel.